Welcome back to the Ordinary Experience. Today I have with me. Now, the way that you explain your name the first time was quite good. Do you want to go for it again? It's like the key to your happiness, and then Asha.
This is it, yeah. So
Kiasha.
my nickname is Sasha, but my real name is Kiasha.
Kiasha. And you go
Yeah, so
by
you can call me what you want.
the Notecook.
I do, on
We'd
Instagram.
love to see it. How has your week been?
My week has been good. It's been busy, but it's so nice to be able to go out and see friends again and enjoy life.
It
So
is.
I'm happy. I'm very happy at the moment. How
It's
has your
good.
week been?
My week's been good. Again, it's been going out, seeing friends, meeting people. It's nice to socialize again. Get out of this
So
cramped
nice.
box once in a while.
Yeah, I
So
feel you.
it's enjoyable. And it's nice that it's sunny and we're not stuck in the rain.
We're so lucky. I mean, it was raining yesterday, but we're very lucky at the moment.
We need a little bit of rain. British
We
weather
do.
sometimes you get good for too long and then it just drops off. So give me a little bit
Agreed.
of rain now, and then later just give me loads more sun.
Yeah, I like the idea of that.
Today, I know that you've got quite a story behind you, and so I want to dive into that like straight away.
Yeah.
And the way that I like to describe your cooking, and not to make your head grow because I know it's you're going to say that it is I describe it as like high end social media cooking or social media recipes, like high end home cooking. I think is the best way to describe it, like the Nobu experience, but you make it at home.
I love that. Yes, exactly.
Can we talk about like where all of this stemmed from? Why specifically you've gone for that corner of the market, whether it was a business decision, whether it was just something that you enjoyed, and the story about how all that came to be.
Okay, so where do I start? So I started the Notecook. Basically, I was diagnosed with IBD, ulcerative colitis is another way of saying it, when I was 14 years old. And I had to be on a really restrictive diet. I had to cut out gluten and dairy. And at the time, I'm 25 now, so at the time, there was like gluten-free, dairy-free wasn't even a thing. Like there weren't aisles in the supermarket like there are now, where there's a selection of food. So I had to really take matters into my own hands and start experimenting myself. So from the age of 14, I just started getting creative in the kitchen and messing around with food, and then it turned into a real passion. And I think now at this point I've learned how to make gluten-free, dairy-free food taste very similar to normal food and like their normal counterparts. So that was important for me. So that's what I wanted to get across through my blog, like, look, gluten-free food and healthy food, because it is a healthy food blog. It doesn't have to be boring. So that's what I'm trying to portray through my blog and through my posts and my food, to show people that, healthy food is fun. It's not hard.
Was it quite difficult? Did you know what you had at the age of 14? Like, is it
No.
quite a serious condition? Would you call it a condition?
So it's autoimmune disease. So you can't get rid of it. It's there for life. But you can go through bouts of remissions, periods of where there are no symptoms, basically.
Right.
But mine is very much stress induced.
Right.
And I'm someone who does stress quite easily. I'm a perfectionist. So if things don't go my way when it comes to work or even, like photography, anything, then I get stressed. So I have to be really careful. So I do a lot to manage my stress and try and keep on track and stay organized so that I don't reach that level. But yeah, it's very much stress induced, and I didn't understand it at the age of 14. It's quite a story. I don't know how much you want me to get into it.
Let's go straight into it. Let's just get into the good stuff.
Right. So yeah, I was diagnosed when I was 14. I was on a cruise in Alaska at the time.
That's
and
a
then
hell of a
I
way
just
to find out.
I know.
Place to find out.
I know. It was horrific. And I just remember getting really terrible stomach pains. Unless you have been through the condition or someone going through it, it's really hard to explain. It's one of those conditions that it's just really hard to put into words.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was confused, didn't know what was going on, was just experiencing chronic pain, lots and lots of blood was just coming out of me. And then as soon as I got back, I had to see a doctor, and then it
Mm-hmm.
took a lot of testing, and I was also misdiagnosed a few times. So it took a long time, I'd say like 6 months, for them to actually diagnose me with ulcerative colitis.
Right.
And it's changed. It's always changed, but the end thing is ulcerative colitis now. So yeah, I mean, I've just been trying to manage it now for the past 11 years.
What was it like?
My
What was it like? Did you have to explain to friends why you couldn't eat certain foods?
Yeah, it was hard because I was just a teenage girl,
Right.
and I just wanted to live a normal teenage life. And I think I was in hospital a lot of the time during my
Mm-hmm.
teenage years. I was on this restrictive diet. Um, I had a horrible time at school because I was missing quite a lot of school as well. So catching up was really stressful for me. So yeah, it just was not a nice experience. But it's made me really strong now.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's a good thing that has happened to me, because I'm a much stronger person for it, and I know how to manage it now. Whereas when it was all new to me, it's taken me a long time to be able to understand this condition, and for a long time of my life I didn't want to accept it, so I didn't really want to learn about it, and I didn't really care to learn more. All I was doing was like following a strict diet,
Right.
and that's one thing I've sustained, and that's been a big change, a big thing for me. It's really helped, but yeah, it was not
How do
a
you
pleasant experience.
how do you maintain it? How do you maintain its like to keep it at bay? There's certain one,
Yeah,
obviously you've got to have the diet. Two, is there like resorts or retreats that you go to where you get back in shape as such?
yeah. So I make sure I exercise every day. That's one thing that really helps. And I've started meditating. So last year I went to India. You know a little bit about this. I
I
went to
love this.
India for a health retreat for no, sorry, it was for 3 weeks. And it was called Nimba, and it was in the like countryside, very basic, not what we're used to, 5 star, like 4 5 star luxury
There's no
hotels, whatever.
Marriott's, was there?
No Marriott's. No, it was like cows, cows, meditation, everything. We woke up at 5 a.m. every day. Went and did yoga and meditation.
We love it. Love to see it.
Had our breakfast, was juicing, I was fasting.
What was the
And then
diet
we
like?
had a bunch of
Typical Indian diet.
so it's all Indian food,
Mm-hmm.
3 times a day. Very, very clean food. They didn't add spices or anything. It was very basic food.
So no
And then
onions, no garlic, no chili.
they didn't use onions or garlic, no
Oh, so it's
chilies,
like
no.
that
It's like,
sattvic
I mean,
sattvic food.
yes, yeah. I mean, they did a really good job of it. It was decent food. It
But
tasted
it
quite
comes
nice.
out incredible. I don't know how, like what they
It
mix
does.
into
I
it.
don't
It
know how
comes
they
out
did it.
phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, Indian food for 3 weeks, 3 times a day, was incredibly tough because
Yes.
I'm a big foodie, you know that. So I've really missed my food. But
Hey, look,
it
I
really,
did 6 months. 6 months
respect.
every single day. Like it was home cooked Indian food, and it wasn't sattvic. There was like spices and garlic, and like it was heavy on the onions. But
You need it.
it's difficult when you're so used to like having Thai or Italian and
Yeah.
Mexican some days, and sometimes you can get a cheeky like fish and chips or whatever, right? And just
Yeah.
binge on that for a little bit, or packet of crisps. During the lockdown period in India, me and my dad were literally just having Indian food like every single day. But breakfast was the only thing that wasn't Indian. It was just fruit.
Yeah.
Lunch and dinner, Indian, 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 Indian.
How did you find that? Did you like it?
It was great for the first week. For the second week, it was good. For the third
Yeah.
week, I was like, I am so tired of this. But we didn't know when it was going to end, so I kind of just had to suck it up. I also didn't get a choice in what was on the menu because we were ordering from a
Right.
from a friend of ours, and she'd make it, and she'd make it for several people in the community. But she'd ask like, "What would you like today?" So I'd have some sort of option, but it was never like, "I want this. Can you make this piece?" There was some days. So I think she made paneer for me. This is before I went vegan, like properly vegan. Paneer for me, love the paneer. She made bhajias. She made.
Oh, I love bhajias.
She made bhajana rotlo, which is like a
Stuffed.
hard roti, but with a different flour.
Right.
And it's like a
we
darker
make those at home. We make those. My mum makes those,
and they're like they're slightly saltier, I feel.
Yeah.
So
I actually prefer them. I love them.
They're really healthy, apparently.
They are
really healthy.
They were giving us those at the health retreat, actually.
Oh, I love it. They're some. I think we didn't go to a health retreat, but when we were traveling, we went to the side of the road, kind of one of these places that you can go and eat and stay, and they were making it with cow pat.
Oh,
like they were cooking it underneath was like cow pat, but obviously it was on a metal thing.
Wow. And wow.
So you really like get the tastes of the earth.
How was it?
Oh, that was the best. Some of the best food I've ever had in my life. You can forget Nobus, you can forget ITCs, and Bukharas and North, like all of these great places that celebrities go to in India and whatever, right?
Yeah.
I will hands down take home cooked food every single day of the week.
Yeah. You can't beat it. You can't beat
Absolutely
it.
not. Unless the chef is cooking it. So, like, unless Nobu is in the building and he's cooking the food, which is unlikely because he's out in the US. I'm using Nobu a lot here, but there's plenty of other restaurants. Nobu's just the one at the top of my head. It's never the same. Like I go out these days, and especially after lockdown, and my mum's I call her a chef. My mum's a great chef. Because a chef, I feel, is invested in, my definition of chef is in someone that's invested in like my health and, me being the best version of myself and cooking for that. I try and help out when I can. Doesn't always work out because I don't cook the way she cooks. She's
hard to beat mum's cooking.
Mum's cooking. Oh, she's a G. My mum can
it's
cook.
hard.
And especially when you can cook for like 20 people and make the food
I don't know how they do it. I really don't know how they do it.
It's incredible. And like
Indian mums
do it differently. Indian mums completely do it differently.
They do.
And I know she's done it with veggie food, and I know she's done it with meat in the past, and it's just incredible because you're able to make every single bit taste just right. And it's perfect. Honestly. Everything's the same. It's consistent. And it's that consistency that makes the food incredible. Agreed. When you have an off day and the food's like not right, you're like, Mum, what happened? She's like, I was tired, or this, that, and I didn't have this. I tried something new here. Did you like it?
Respect for them.
Yeah.
Too much respect for them.
We've got Indian food for lunch today, so I'm looking forward to it. We've got live
I might have to take
Indian.
Today. Love it. I hope you're contributing.
Yes, I'm making the fire.
Okay, that will do.
I'm making and maintaining the fire. But what's it like living in an ashram or a retreat? Was it an ashram or was it a retreat?
It was a retreat. Like, to be fair, as far as India goes, it was quite nice. Very basic, but clean, and apart from a few lizards in my room, which I can't be a drama queen about because that's India. But no, very clean. They've just rebuilt a lot of it, so I reckon it's a lot nicer now than when I went. But there's no Wi-Fi there. There's one little room for Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi is terrible, so it wasn't even worth going in there, basically. It was hard though. It was mentally challenging.
Were you there by yourself? Was anyone that you knew there with you? Anyone?
I was with my mum.
Right.
Me and my mum went for 3 weeks. But they do actually have doctors there, so they're like ayurvedic doctors. They're qualified doctors, but they also practice Ayurveda, like Ayurvedic medicine. So yeah, we were all assigned one doctor, and he really, really knew what he was doing with me. Like,
what's that process like? Because it's something that I wanted to try while I was out there. Go away to a retreat and an Ayurvedic retreat, eat food that is grown and cooked locally, minimal spices, meditation, yoga. I wanted to try that, didn't get the chance to. what's the process like the application, how the doctor deals with you? Do they have their medical records? And then how do they
Yeah.
sort of, because it seems like black magic
Yeah.
in a way,
I
but
know.
Ayurveda's been around for 5,000 plus years. I mean, we
Yeah.
still use it today. Turmeric
Yeah.
is an Ayurvedic spice that they use.
Yeah.
And what else is there? Ayurveda, the massages are kind of this.
Yeah.
There's only a bit of the stuff left.
Yeah.
It's kind of ticking around. So, what's that experience like?
Okay, well, in terms of the process, very simple. Like, I'm not sure how my mum found them. Actually, I think we were recommended it by someone else. So we got in touch with them. They do a short interview with you to see what your issues are. They go through your health reports, your health history, everything. And then you get there, they assign you a doctor. Mine was amazing. And then he goes through your health report. Like, he went through my health reports again. He weighed me, asked me a lot of questions, what I wanted to gain out of the trip. And then he put a specific plan, personalized plan together for me, which I had to follow. And I'd have to see him every other day to check up on how I was doing, make sure I wasn't losing too much weight, all of that stuff. And then he put me on what was it? I think it was a 19 or 20 hour fast I was doing. So I had a 4-hour period where I could actually eat.
Wow.
So that's what I mean. It was tough. I lost a lot of weight, like I was a stick. Obviously that wasn't my intention, but you would naturally. But whatever he was doing, whatever he did to me worked.
Right.
It was insane. It was insane.
So
I actually went out there.
Were you by yourself?
Yeah, I wanted to be by myself. I was with my mum.
Like, were you by yourself with your own thoughts?
Yes. The only way I can describe that place is like, it's like being in heaven. If heaven were to exist, whether you believe in it or not, that's what I would imagine it to be like. Everyone was just, the guests there were just like full of positivity, happiness. They were like rays of sunshine. I've never met people like that in my life. I still keep in touch with them, and obviously they were a lot older than me. I was literally the only young girl there. Everyone else was like 30, 40 plus.
I know that,
but I honestly
don't know what it's like to be a young girl, but I know the feeling of being in a place with older people for a significant amount of time.
Yeah. And they just instilled so much wisdom in me, and it was so nice to be around them. They were just telling me their life stories, and some of them they're just inspiring, and that is what I can imagine heaven to be like. The grounds were so stunning. I have to send you pictures. It was so beautiful.
Oh, most definitely. I'll see if I can put them up in the social media content.
Yeah,
yeah. Fly in. That's incredible.
It was beautiful. So a lot of time to myself. What's
it like having that much time to yourself? Because I got that time to myself when I was in India during me figuring myself out. And it's not a lot of people actively take the time to do that. People like do it in between. Like when you're on the train, you take some time to yourself. What's it like to be cut off for the world? Not have your phone, have only people, have real conversations, but also have a conversation with yourself about, your goals, your ambitions, whatever you're having for dinner that night, how your body's feeling. What's that like? It
was honestly life-changing for me, like genuinely life-changing, because I've never given myself that time ever in my life. Mm-hmm. I've never had the time to do that. I've been studying up until 2019, and then that's when I was able to actually, be free and experience that and have that time to myself. And you're in a place where, like you said, like there's no Wi-Fi, it's basic commodities, everything is just simple. Mm-hmm. You have no choice but to spend time by yourself. There's nothing else to do.
Was that a process at the start? You were like,
I found it hard.
You found it super difficult, right? Because you want to connect.
Because I was attached to my and I was attached to my phone. I can admit it. I was attached to my phone.
Absolutely.
Fully. So to be detached, we're not used to that life. We're not used to that life because our generation are stuck to technology. But it was amazing. It took me about 2 days to get over it, and then I was like, "This is amazing."
Would you drop it? Would you drop everything that you have currently and go back in a heartbeat?
Absolutely. I say this to everyone. I'm dying to go back. If it wasn't for COVID, I'd probably be there right now, honestly. And then also you sleep so much better, right? Because I
Yeah.
didn't realize the impact. Because now, like, I work right until I try and stop an hour before I go to bed. But if
Hmm.
I've got a busy day, like, I'll be working right up until the point I go to sleep.
Right.
And that light really does have an effect on you. So the fact that I was away from all of the light, the busyness of social media, I slept so perfectly
And
as well.
you
So
have more energy during the day, right? And you start just
so
naturally
much
getting
more
up earlier.
energy. Yeah, because we had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I was going to bed about 7 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
and I was able to sleep so amazingly. Um,
I remember coming back from India and like I was still doing my yoga. And it was weird because like I'd be pushing myself a little bit too much. So I'd go to bed at 10. I do the yoga at 5 in the
yeah.
morning. But my body would get me up at like 4, 3:30. Like I'd just be awake.
Oh my
And
God.
like awake with a coffee in me type of awake, instantaneously, just up
Wow.
and ready. And I don't know what it
Wow.
was. Now I don't experience that. Probably because of all the alcohol that we've been consuming. um
Shh.
shh. But it's incredible when you get that time, and it's incredible when you turn your phone off and you decompress and detach,
Yeah,
how good it is for you.
amazing. I can't recommend it enough.
I think
I
everyone should
want
do it. It should be
everyone to do
mandatory.
this. I want everyone to do this. I really do. It's life changing.
And like you did, you only needed 3 weeks, right?
Yeah,
I got 6 months or a year almost. So like
yeah,
that's a whole different ball game. But like 3 weeks and you're able to have that experience, and you've got to commit, right? You can't just like
you do.
half-ass it. You have to commit to it.
You have to. You have no choice. You have no choice. Especially like there, they check your bags when you get there to make sure you're not bringing any food.
Really?
I tried to sneak in some. I didn't try to sneak in. I got my grandma. My grandma joined us for the last 5 days. I told my grandma sneak in with some cashews because I was craving cashews by the end. And they caught her. They were like, they check your bags when you get there, so they kept the cashews at the front, and I wasn't able to get my cashews. So they're strict. They're really strict in there with
So
everything they do.
when you're in
But
there and you're thinking about everything and anything and nothing at the same time, like what's going through your head? Like, are you thinking about what am I going to do when I get back home?
so that's actually where the Notecook was born,
Oh, okay.
in India, because I had so much time to myself. I was just sitting. They've got this beautiful like garden in the middle of the retreat, and I was just sitting there in the sun, soaking in all the sun I could get. And I was just at this point, I was like really, really missing home food, like my food, English food. Um, and then I just kept coming up. I got my phone out and I got my notes app up, and I just thought of every food combination and
So
food
that's
recipe
so that's
that
why
I
it's
could
called the
think
Note
of.
Cook.
Yeah, no, well, well, that's part of it. Yeah, but I must have written over 150 ideas in a day, or actually over about 2 days, um, of ideas that I wanted to test. And I was like, wow, like some of these recipes are really good. I think once I get home and start working on them, this is something I could actually do for fun as a hobby. And I always wanted to have a food blog. So this kind of gave me the push I wanted to, or needed to actually go ahead with it, because if it wasn't for that trip, I don't think I would have done it. I don't know what it was, but something about that trip just made me,
Did it
you
give
know,
you clarity,
want to
clarity
do
of
it.
mind?
It did give me clarity of mind. Yeah, it did. But I think, where I was so deprived of the food I wanted,
Hmm.
I just came up with these insane ideas, and then here we are.
So how many months later did you how many
So
months later are we now, like talking today from when it started?
So it was January 2019 when I was in
Right.
India, and then when I got back, mid Feb, I started building my website,
Okay.
and everything. So I built my website. I That took me quite a long time. That took me
The
about three
process of
months.
starting, what did you do? Like when I started my social media journey and YouTubing and getting online, I started with articles. I started with the easiest way to do it with the least amount of cost.
Right.
And so I started writing articles, which was the least amount, it was least time consuming and also the cheapest way of doing it, because I wanted like no barrier to entry, because I know that with me, if I've got to buy a camera and I've got a learning curve of this and learning curve of that, it's just going to be too much. So
Yeah.
I started like that and then I progressed. So now I do YouTube, now I do video podcasts, and I've got to learn how
Yeah.
to edit this, that, and the other and understand how the technology works. With you, did you just like start cooking, snap it with a phone, or was it very much, I want to do this the right way, or whatever the right way is for you?
So I that was a that was also kind of one of the reasons I didn't start sooner, because I had the idea of a food blog way before, well, probably when I started uni, 2015, and I knew I didn't have the right instruments. Like I didn't have a camera, I didn't have lighting, I didn't have backdrops, plates, whatever. And also at uni, like my food was quite basic. There was nothing too exciting.
What was
That
typical of a uni?
what was a typical uni? I say basic, but I was a bit extra. I used to make like gluten-free chicken katsu and stuff, and
Gluten-free chicken katsu.
homemade pizza. I was extra actually thinking back, but
Did you live by yourself during uni?
no, I was in halls
You
for
were
the
in
whole
halls.
time.
So did you make it
Yeah.
for the other flatmates as well?
I did used to make them food sometimes, but no, my ingredients were expensive, you know.
Were you
I
a
used to shop.
Waitrose shopper or a
I
Asda
was
shopper?
I was shopping at Waitrose just only because they had the biggest gluten-free selection
Right.
for food, whereas the Tesco and everything near us was quite bad for
Mhm.
me. Um, so everyone used to think I was a snob, but that was only because I literally, that was the best place for me to shop. So most of my student loan was being put towards my
Food.
weekly grocery shop. Yeah.
Waitrose shop is not cheap. It's not cheap at
It's
all.
not cheap. It's not cheap. They honestly should have given me some kind of reward, the amount of money I spent with them. But no, so I wanted to start it then. I didn't have the time either. If I knew if I wanted to do it, I would want to do it to the degree that I knew. What am I trying to say? I wanted to do it to a good enough standard,
Right.
basically. I know I mentioned before I'm a perfectionist, and I am a perfectionist. But that's kind of the delay. So since building my website, everyone just said to me, start with your Instagram page and then get a website. But I wanted everything done.
I would have recommended that.
Yeah, everyone said that to me, but I wanted everything done. And then originally I was snapping on my phone the pictures, and then my phone actually broke,
Oh,
and I had to wait a little while until my replacement came. And my brother had a camera lying around, and I didn't have a clue how to use the camera, but I just picked it up and started experimenting with it. And then now I know how to use the camera, so that just was kind of a blessing in disguise for me.
Right.
So yeah, now I use the camera, and now I've learned how about lighting. Like you said, it's a process. You do learn all this stuff as you go along. So I've done a lot of learning as I've, progressed. It'll be a year in July since I started it. So the growth from there to now is insane. If you look at some of my old videos, I cringe. I cringe so hard when I look at some of my old videos at how terrible they are. So if you compare when you go on my Instagram,
were they in focus at least?
yes,
My
that I
first
nailed, I
10
think.
videos were not in focus. And I had
Oh
to edit it.
no.
I had to edit knowing that they wouldn't be in focus.
Oh no. Oh no.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible.
But it's growth, isn't it? It's a
It's a learning
process.
curve, yeah, absolutely. And then
And it's
getting
good to
into
have
this.
that there so you can see how far you've come.
Oh, most definitely. I wouldn't delete them for anything. Like they're
Yeah,
an important part of my
exactly.
journey. I think social media is a journey.
Definitely.
And getting to the point that you've got to, as well as dealing with the condition that you've got to, it's IBD, right?
IBD, yeah.
IBD, dealing with IBD at the same time. But you're also showing people that actually you can cook, you can live in a way that's clean, and a way that you
Yeah.
can have an experience doing it, and all of these things is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Because I watch this this guy from Essex. I can't remember his name to save my life, and he makes like TikToks or the short form pieces of content. It's like 20-minute blitz or 20 minutes of blitz. And he makes all of these things in 20 minutes, like smoothies, recipes, whatever, like Indian curries, things
Oh,
like that.
amazing.
I'll send you his stuff.
Yeah.
And he's really
send me.
cool because it's like super fast, super energetic and everything. But they're very, not basic recipes, but they're done in a basic manner. Yours, however, when you see it and you see the presentation of the photos, they're like super high def. Like it seems like you're shooting on like a 4K camera or something. It's wild.
Amazing.
And
Good.
then the lighting's good. You know, you've got everything set up and set out in a way that's aesthetically pleasing. And so when you come on the page, you think, or at least the first time I came across you, I was like, what does this girl do? Is she promoting someone else's food? Is she a restaurant? Or is this like stuff that I can cook? And then I realized that it's stuff that you can cook. The stuff that you make is the stuff you see on like restaurant websites.
That's what I want to show people. It's so simple to do. I make it, it might look difficult, but it's so simple to do.
I think it must be those slate plates. The slate plates make a big difference.
Yeah, they make a big difference.
With the gold streak, you've got one with a gold streak.
Oh my God, Viraj. Yeah, if I showed you the amount of plates that I have downstairs for my photography, it's a joke. My parents shout at me every day because I keep buying new plates and stuff and I don't need them and there's no space for them. Like, I'm obsessed with buying
I quite like
one
of my favorite plates is the round. Okay, obviously most of them are round, but the round one with like the kind of the lines in the middle. It's like light.
Is this my one?
No, not your one. Just in general, they're like light lines in the middle. It's like a kind of like a matte finish on top.
You'd have to show me a picture.
Actually,
don't, because I'd end up buying it. Don't.
I'm gonna get Viraj. Viraj, I shouldn't have bought the plate.
Yeah, I really will. So yeah, don't.
But I think it's quite cool how you're normalizing the high-end experience.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like, I'm a big advocate for clean ingredients. My mum's a nutritionist, so that's a whole nother story in itself. You know about that, but
well,
my mum's a nutritionist.
Give the audience a little bit of a deep dive, like, or a quick overview of why your mum's a nutritionist, because I think that's an important part.
Yeah, so in short, my mum is my hero. Like, I might get emotional, but so when I was diagnosed when I was 14 years old, I was put on every single drug that they could have given me. Just a little 14-year-old girl. I was on medicine as strong as, well, it was a medicine that they use for chemo patients, so it was strong stuff. And it was just making me worse. Everything was making me deteriorate. Like, my brother's friend sat on my finger, for example, and it snapped, like it fully broke. That's how weak I was. I was so weak and frail, and it was hurting her that I was going through this and nothing was helping.
So your mum was seeing this pain.
Yes, yeah. And she saw it physically. Like, I was like a little old woman at the age of 14. So then she used to be a beauty therapist. She went on. She changed her career. She went to study nutrition and functional medicine.
Functional medicine.
Functional medicine,
That's
yeah.
Really, I might have to get your mum on here.
Honestly, you'd have a field day, you two, if you do smoke. She's full of knowledge and wisdom.
Right.
But she then spent 3 years of her life studying, and putting whatever protocols she was learning in her degree to helping me, and she completely put me into remission at one point, to the point where I went to my doctor, who thought I was on medication, and I'm not anti-medication, by the way, it just wasn't for me.
Right.
I went to the doctor and I had to have a colonoscopy, which is where they put not pleasant, they put the cameras down your throat in the back and look in your colon. Like? Honestly, horrific. We won't even go there. It's horrific. And it was completely clear. And he thought it was a medication that was doing all of this, but I hadn't been on the medication for like 3 months. And my mum had completely cleared me of my disease. Um, and the doctor just couldn't believe it. And then when my mum told the doctor that she had taken me off my medication, he was disgusted. He was like, how are you doing this? What are you doing to her? Like, she needs medication.
Did she tell him afterwards or before the colonoscopy?
She told him after. She told him after, because he
good
thought it was
mum.
all the medication. But honestly, I healed myself through good food, nutrition, and the right supplements.
So your mum was being a mum. She was being
Yeah.
a student.
Yeah.
She was being...
And she was a beauty therapist. She's
nutritionist, beauty therapist, and a chef all at the same time.
All at the same time.
That's incredible.
She's probably doing more. This woman doesn't stop. But she's now made this into her career, like her whole career. She's helping hundreds, if not early thousands, of IBD patients and people with gut issues and autoimmune diseases. And this woman's onto big things. Let me just say that.
We love it. We absolutely love it.
So yeah, no, she's the reason I'm here today. Honestly, she's honestly the reason I'm here today. I don't think I would be in the state I am now if it wasn't for her. So I'm very grateful for her.
That's actually incredible, because yeah, sure, there's this idea of mother's love, right? And not an idea, it exists. A parent's love, a mother's love. And they say a mother's love is, what's the word I'm looking for? But it's unlike anything else.
It is.
Completely. They will drop everything and do anything for you if you're in danger or you're hurt. I know my mum's like that. If anyone speaks of me badly or I'm in trouble, she hurts.
Yeah.
Like internally, she hurts.
They feel it. They do. They feel it.
There's a level of empathy there that cannot be described. And I think that's because we are born from them. And there's that emotional connection that exists. Yeah,
definitely. Definitely.
When you were dealing with that and she was seeing you in pain, did you ever have conversations with her? Like, Mum, I don't know if I'm going to be all right. Like, you must have been scared at the time. She must have been scared for you.
Yeah, she was, because it was all new to us, right? Like, I was a very healthy girl growing up. And then all of a sudden this just hit us. We weren't used to this. It was new to all of us. And, it was confusing for everyone, but she really did work hard to understand the condition when I didn't want to understand it myself. So I was just following her protocol. I had no understanding of what was going on inside of me, what the dangers were. And also I wanted to have a normal teenage life as well, which meant going out with my friends, going to parties, like sleepovers and stuff. So I think she really worked hard on me so that I could live that life and grow up with a normal teenage life. Although some of it wasn't normal. I spent a lot of time in hospital.
Can we talk about that?
And in bed. Yeah.
What's it like for a 14-year-old to be in hospital instead of being at school? Like, does that cause anxiety? Does that cause depression? Does that make you rethink, like, what am I doing with my life? Do you even, like, obviously you said you didn't really know what was happening and you chose not to understand. But can you, like, explain what the hell was going on in your head? And maybe we can talk about your mindset and how you've got to the individual that I'm looking at on the screen today.
So I mean, where do I start with this?
And I'm willing to go as deep as you like.
Okay. Basically, like I said, I missed a lot of school because of it. So that meant missing out on a big chunk of my social life growing up, like as a teenager. I'm lucky in the sense that at one point the medications were helping me and I was able to experience a good teenage life. But where I did miss school, I fell quite behind at my high school, to the point where they were like, she's not going to be able to do anything. Like, she might as well just not apply to uni or anything. There's no way she's going to be able to get through uni. My business teacher, A-level teacher, said to me, there's no point of you even applying to study business at uni. You're not going to be able to do it. Don't bother. But I knew, like, I didn't understand my condition, but I knew that I was not going to let this condition defeat me and, you know, not let me live the life I want. I've always wanted to go to uni. That's always been a big goal of mine. So I kind of, at a point when no one believed in me, including my parents at one point, they not that they didn't believe in me. They thought that my health was going to be so, like, it was so bad that I physically wouldn't be able to handle the stress of uni. It wasn't, you know, anything else. It was the fact that my health was bad. So when everyone's against you, you kind of do have to just build up strength. So from the age of, like, this was when I started my A levels, really, when I was 16, my auntie gave me the book The Secret, which is quite a generic, like, you know, it's a basic book, but it does teach you
The Secret is in the affirmation, not the affirmation.
Yeah, by Rhonda Bryan.
And they made the movie out of it, right?
Byron. Yes,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
And it's got like the red stamp.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes, that's the one. That's a really great place to start when you're young, because that's kind of sets the foundations for, you know, how you should think positive, and, you know, how good thoughts attract good things, all of that stuff. And then I started teaching myself, and I watched a lot of videos, motivational videos, and I started listening to podcasts, and I kind of fell in love with the idea of believing in myself. And I don't know how to word it, like, I don't know if that even made sense, but I fell in love with the process. When everyone was against me, when everyone didn't believe in me, I made sure I believed in myself.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing that got me to where I am now. Like, honestly, so I'll give you an example. The day before one of my A-level exams, I was hospitalized. I was so bad. That's probably the worst I've been. And my teachers were like, we're not going to let you sit the exam. There's no way we're going to let you sit the exam. My parents didn't want me to go in and sit the exam. But I had this goal of getting to uni. I was like, I'm going to uni. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to uni. I'm going to sit this exam. I went from the hospital bed to, we had to find a hospital near my school. I went to school in central London. So I had to find we found a hospital near the school the day before the exam. I went to the hospital. From the hospital bed, I got up. I went and sat my exam. I had so much belief in myself. I can't tell you how much belief I had in myself when everyone told me not to. And I came out of those exams getting 100% in two of the ones where I was bedbound.
That's awesome.
And it just goes to show, right? Like, as long as you believe in yourself, nothing else should matter.
But how
that's like my proudest achievement.
How do you do that? You're in such a deep spot.
It's a process. It's a process, isn't it? Like, it's hard. It's a hard process. I think books really helped me. Reading really helped me. And it took even, I mean, look, I struggle still with self-belief sometimes.
I think we all do. We've all got that imposter syndrome.
Of course, exactly.
Like, sometimes I wonder, like, why should I? Who am I to be having these conversations with people? Like, who am I to do this? Who am I to do that? And, like, am I good enough to be able to do it?
You're the boss.
Yeah.
You're the boss.
At the end of the day, I enjoy it. And the moment I stop enjoying it, I have to question it. And that's the kind of my theory now is, like, you do it for fun. You treat it properly. You treat it with respect. You treat it like a job. I don't call this a side hustle. This is like one of my main hustles. This is my job. This is my other job. And I treat it with that respect.
Yeah.
Sure, I lapse. Like, this week I've lapsed. But I'll have to make sure that I put in the processes to make sure that I'm able to do this continually.
Yeah.
I think that's incredible, because you were able to do that while being in a hospital bed. Figure out that you've got the power inside of you to be able to do that.
I think as well, like, that's where goal setting and vision boards and ambition, like,
so
strong drive.
Is that where all that came from? And you just spending time in these hospital beds being like, mentally I need to be in a happy place. Mentally I need to be positive.
I've always grown up with big ambitions. I've had big goals
What do
since I
these
was
big ambitions
small.
look like?
Uh,
Come on.
like nice, some of it's materialistic. Like, you know, I want a nice house, I want a nice car, but
Where's
also
the
I want
house
to be,
going to be?
you know, it's going to be in Surrey. It's definitely going to be in Surrey.
Not to say anywhere else is bad, but Surrey's got a special charm.
Surrey is the place. Surrey is where I'd want to, you know, raise kids and stuff. But having those at the time, uni was my biggest goal. I really, really, really wanted to experience uni, because that also meant I could experience a normal life for myself, right? Where I was away from home and I didn't have anyone being a burden on me, and I could just be myself. And then uni was the next step in my self-development, because that gave me time to myself, that gave me time to like live away from my parents and actually grow up and live independently.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a whole new aspect of my life where I was able to grow even further. And I feel like this all happened for a reason, because if it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for those hospital beds and blah blah blah, I wouldn't have actually got to where I am now. I wouldn't have got to experience that, because that is what gave me the motivation to, you know, work my ass off and really push myself and believe in myself.
I like that. Did you have like a strong group of friends around you, or were you very much like not an introvert, but you kept to yourself because you couldn't make friends because of the condition, because of you were in and out of hospital?
I've always been good like that. Like, I've always been very sociable, always had friends around me, no matter what. And my friends were very understanding as well.
Really?
So it's
Even at
quite
the age
hard
of
for
14,
teenage.
15?
Yeah. I mean, when I was 14, 15, I just moved schools as well. So that was quite tough, because I was making new friends, and also I didn't really understand what was going on. And it was hard initially, because obviously moving to a new school and you not being there a lot of the time is quite hard. But I was lucky with that school in that everyone was just so lovely. I made friends very quickly, who I'm still friends with today. But they were just lovely. I went to all girls school. They were lovely girls, and they were very understanding. My teachers were very understanding at that school as well. So it worked out. It worked out nicely, in the sense that I was able to still have friends around me, and they were very understanding.
That's quite
and
special.
I was able to experience it was, and I was able to experience
did you
know, a normal life as most.
So you did get the normal life at some points.
I did. I
were,
had
kind of striving for.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you
yeah.
Do you wish this had never happened to you in the first place?
Oh my God, that's a really tough question.
Because I know obviously you've been through so much pain, physically, mentally, but it's made you this woman today, right? It's made you be able to have this mindset.
This is what I think. If it wasn't for this illness, I don't even want to call it an illness, because I've accepted it now as part of me. But if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be the same person I am today. I just wouldn't be. I don't think I'd have much drive or ambition, or I don't think I'd have big goals, and I certainly would not be as strong as I am today. Like, I consider myself to be a very strong. No, if I had a pound for every time someone said to me, "You don't look ill," and I've been going through it,
you don't look ill,
I'd be living in my Surrey mansion already. Let's just put it there. So I've considered myself to be very strong, and I think that's one of my favorite traits about myself. And if it wasn't for this, I don't think I'd be a strong person at all.
When you say strong, what does that mean? Like mentally strong, physically strong?
Mentally strong. Even physically strong. Even physically, I mean, that point where I broke my finger, I was determined after that to build myself back up and become strong physically and mentally. It was the kind of a duo. It came as a pair. So that's when I started going to the gym, and I take my fitness. I enjoy exercising now, and so the exercise actually helps with the mental side of things as well. It keeps me sane and energized and everything. So a mix of everything. It's both mentally and physically
Do you
strong.
do affirmations?
I do.
What does
I
that
do.
look like? Because I haven't really got into that. Like I say things like to myself, and I'm like, I want to be able to achieve this. I want to be able to grow this, or like the podcast. I want to turn it into a platform where I can share and empower the ordinary person, and share
Yeah.
ordinary stories. Is that an affirmation, or is that not an affirmation? What is it? What is this? What does affirmation mean to you?
With affirmations, it's very personalized.
Right.
So it can be whatever you want it to be, whatever goal. It could be as little as I am going to have a great day, for example. Like every day I wake up and I set my intentions for the day. That's the first thing I do. I wake up and I decide what kind of day I want. Do I want a productive day?
Is that a non-negotiable?
What mood do I want to be in? What do you mean?
As in, you are consistent with that every single day? Pretty much.
If I don't write things down, I'll say it in my head.
Okay.
I'd like to write things down, but if I don't, I'll say it in my head. Obviously, things don't always go to plan because life does get in the way. I can have a slow driver in front of me and it might ruin my day sometimes, but no, life is life. Nothing can go as planned all the time, but it definitely puts me in the right mindset. So for me, I started my affirmation journey when I was at uni in my final year.
Right.
I was really stressed. It was affecting my health. I didn't think I was going to be able to sit my exams, and I was really going through it. So my mum knew a life coach. She does coaching. Her name's Helen. And she taught me affirmations. And honestly, to this day, I say, if it wasn't for her, I would not have got through my last year of uni, because she gave me, that was a period when I really did doubt my self-belief. I went through like a dip, and she restored it, and she, through affirmations, the power of affirmations, which are basically positive statements that you repeat to yourself,
like
over
chant?
and over. Not a chant. Like, for example, I usually wake up in the morning and I have an empty diary and I'll write down 5 affirmations for the day, and they could be different every day. One could be I am happy, healthy, and successful, for example. That's just an example. And I always start it with I am. And then the more you repeat yourself, the kind of science behind it is the more you repeat that to yourself, the more you start to believe it. And then you're kind of making those thoughts become things, and you're putting them into, trying to transform them into reality. But you do start to believe. They can't be, obviously, they have to be realistic. That's the main thing. They have to be realistic. They can't be, I'm going to make £5 million in an hour, for example. It has to be fully realistic.
You can do it. You can rob a bank.
Oh, I mean, you gonna join me?
No, I think I'm gonna pass on that one. This isn't Fast and Furious.
No, I'm joking.
I don't know.
No,
I know a
I'm
bank
joking.
that stores 5 million off the top of my head. Maybe the Bank of England.
No, I'm joking. But yeah, that's something that I swear by now, because I've struggled with, self-confidence issues, even issues with self-belief when I do go through my dips.
What are the dips like?
But
they rough dips?
I think social media has a big part to play in the dips, like when you compare yourself to other people. That used to be a big thing for me, but I think since lockdown last year, I've spent a lot less time on my personal account, Instagram account, whereas like now I'll just scroll through it and I get bored after 5 minutes. I have to come off. I just have to. I can't take it. But also I've unfollowed a bunch of people and followed more motivational accounts, people I'm inspired by, and that has really made a difference. So I have a more pleasant experience when I go on social media now. It's just mainly friends that I see and these positive accounts. affirmation accounts and everything. So that's been game changing for me. But yeah.
I think people forget the fact that social media isn't, isn't this place where you just have to follow your friends. You pick and choose the type of
Yes,
content that you want to consume. I went
definitely.
through a similar thing when I was in India, and I got the choice of being on the other side of the world and not having anyone else around me. So
Yeah.
it was a lovely break from the world that the UK is, that the Western world is. And so I got to choose to be able to be like, okay, so who do I want to follow? Who inspires me? Who do I love to the point where, I'm invested in their life? I want to see them grow. Like, I've got love for everyone.
Yeah.
We're just all sometimes at different wavelengths. There's that famous Tupac quote that I love repeating, which is, I want to see you eat, just not on my table. Do well.
Yeah.
As long as you're not
Yeah.
hurting anyone, do well. And you know what?
I love
Maybe
that.
at some point we'll come back round together and we'll be eating at the same table at some point in our lives.
I love that.
But for the time being, you sit on your table, I sit on mine. I'll sit with
Yeah.
the people around me, you sit with the people around you. Cool. No qualms. But I used to follow 3,000 plus people. Like, my timeline didn't end. My Instagram was just constant, just been feeding me and feeding me and feeding me. And
Yeah.
I got it down to about 300 or 250. And that took like a month to get down to, because Instagram thought I was like a bot, a robot.
Oh
Trying to
yeah, they do
unfollow.
that, don't they?
It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really, really odd. I was like, what have I done?
They
But
can
it's
block your account, can't they?
totally, it's like you've been placed on like this time period. But it was
Yeah, it's a pain.
so much clarity in the fact that I choose what I want. I
Yeah.
choose what I consume. If I don't like your
Yeah.
content, we might be friends, but I don't like your content, I don't have to follow you. I might
Yeah.
follow you and stick you on mute because I
Yeah.
need to be able to contact you. I don't want to see constantly into your life.
Yeah.
And I get that.
It's important. And I don't think anyone should take it personally on social media. Like, if you get an unfollow, it doesn't matter. It's social media at the end of the day.
Exactly.
If you're not enjoying someone's content, just unfollow them. If it's not making you feel good, just unfollow them. It's really important for your mental health. It's really
Totally.
important. I'm
Sometimes I
glad you did
forget.
it too.
Sometimes I forget, like, I've not unfollowed, but I've muted a person, and I'm like, oh yeah, right. I still follow them. Why do I? I haven't thought about them in a couple months. Why are they still here? And that's all right,
Yeah.
because the beauty about it is that you can text someone instantaneously,
Yeah,
and you can still pick up a conversation. It just depends on the person at the other end.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we were discussing how to get you on the podcast, and
Yeah.
we organized the intro call and whatever, and then we didn't speak at all until about 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're able to just be like, okay, cool, I see her content, I enjoy her content, and then she's able to pick up a conversation like that. It's not like someone has to be there 24/7, blah, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And that's all right. Some people like your content, some people don't. It's just the way the world works. It's like 4 billion of us.
You can't please everyone as well at the end of the day.
Totally.
You can't. It's impossible.
It's this, you die trying.
Exactly.
It's not worth it in any capacity.
Exactly.
And
I'm with you there.
oh man, I do enjoy social media. Like, I do enjoy it. I love the
Yeah.
idea.
Who doesn't?
The idea of what it presents, of connecting people in
Yeah.
a way that is incredible. But at the same
Yeah.
time, people just use it to stunt and this and that. And
Agreed.
I don't
It's a
need to see
highlight
that.
of everyone's lives, isn't it? It's just a highlight of everyone's good points in their lives.
I like posting the bad points as well now, because I think for me,
I love that.
I want to show myself in the future, not a highlight reel. I want to show them the whole reel, the negatives, the positives, so that I can see, oh cool, you were down this week, and then 2 days later you were going out with friends and you had an amazing time. It just snaps. You don't have to stay in that rut. Sometimes it's great. Enjoy the rut.
Yeah.
So that you experience what that's like. So that I'm not going back there again. I haven't been down for a while. I haven't had any not depressive episodes. I haven't had any significant depressive bouts. I pretty much got that in check. I know how to square off my existence and what I give to the world. Sure, things pop up from time to time, but it's conversations with parents or friends, and you're like, why why this? Like, how does this work? And sometimes it's misconstrued. That happens. It does. But
Yeah.
I've got a good friend that says some days shit, some days good. And that's such as life.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah.
It's great fun. And life is, you just got to enjoy it. And
Agreed.
if you're not enjoying it, what's the point? Like you're doing, I feel like if you're not
Agreed.
enjoying it, you're doing something wrong. Or you're
Absolutely.
committing to something for you to have enjoyment at some point in the future. And you know that you need to work through this grit. I think it was Mike Tyson never used to like boxing.
Really? I didn't know that.
I think he hated it. Like he never, I might be wrong here. Someone's probably going to write in the comments, but like I don't think he enjoyed he loved the violence because I know he had psychotherapy or hypnotherapy. So he was like mentally geared up for violence. But I think he's got his own podcast and he was saying like, I never actually enjoyed it. Looking back, I never enjoyed getting in the ring. I know there's an MMA fighter that never liked getting into the ring, even though he was a world champion. For me, I enjoy what I do. It's hard work, but without hard work, you don't do anything good in my eyes.
Agreed. And I think it's important to love what you do as well. It just makes the process nicer.
It does.
It's important.
Oh yeah.
It's very important.
Absolutely. It's tough at the beginning when you're doing this social media stuff. Because you want it to be perfect. You want it to be like you said, you want to be a perfectionist. I'm a little bit like that. I like things to be good and of a high quality. I also know I'm limited by what I have. I'm not a full scale production. I'm not like LeBron's Uninterrupted, or sorry, Maverick Carter's Uninterrupted. This isn't a TV show. This isn't a massive YouTube channel. But I've got to make do with the tools that I have and kind of play within the bounds of the system. And that's what
honestly, you're doing an amazing job of it.
I appreciate that. So far. It's fun.
You really are.
It's hard work. Like sometimes you have people drop out, but it's just part and parcel of life. Like I'm still figuring out how to. I want to do these in person, so I've got to figure out how to be able to do them in person and like how cameras can record for longer than 30 minutes because apparently that's a thing.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's weird. There's like tax reasons behind it.
So much to know, isn't there?
Tell me about it.
Oh,
like
I didn't know that.
So, like DSLRs don't record longer than 30 minutes. There's like a gentleman's agreement because of tax reasons. But the camera recorders that you like stick through your eye like that, they'll record longer. At the end of the day, it's just money. Crazy things, right? You think you buy a £1,000 camera, you're going to be able to record what you want.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
That's mad. I didn't know that.
I only found out a couple months ago.
You'll figure that out.
You'll
figure that out. You're doing a sick job so far. So
I appreciate it. I think that
I have faith.
I'll continue my affirmations.
I think you should.
I do some. I call it gratitude journaling.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So
great.
like
I do that as well.
I write like I am grateful for this, and then I do like 5 things. And then I was having a conversation.
Do you do 5 things that you have currently, or you say it as if you've already received it, but in the future?
I am grateful for things I've already received. So like, I write it in the morning.
Because I know some people do it.
Some people do it in the future. So what you're going to receive.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try that. I like
whatever works for you, isn't it? But I do the gratitude. I do 3 things I'm grateful for every day. Life-changing.
It humbles you so much. Like
it really does.
Because you have these massive things. Like I'm grateful for my parents. I'm grateful for the room that I'm able to work in. I'm grateful for, I've got this brand new monitor. So I'm grateful for the monitor. But then I've got this desk, which is like a really nice touch.
Yeah.
It's just wood at the end of the day, but I'm grateful for the wood. And then you get to the really small things where you're like, I'm grateful for the feeling of slate, or the feeling of wood, or the feeling of like my brother's love. Yeah. And it's like those tiniest things as well. And you're able to just go from these massive macros to these tiny micros within a split second.
It gives you a whole different outlook to life, doesn't it? You just start to appreciate every single thing.
When I don't do it, I notice I'm like, okay, you need to pick up your reset quick.
Yeah.
And I also do something called like a morning dump, where I just like write whatever. It's like flow of consciousness. Just write whatever comes to mind, whether it's like what a friend has said, what I'm thinking, the podcast, who I need to get on, work, whether I'm enjoying that or not. You know, what am I doing this
Yeah,
weekend? And it's lovely seeing how the brain jumps.
that's great. Like, does that just make you feel like you've got rid of a bunch of
It does.
thoughts? Like, what does that do for you?
It's I get to one see how my brain functions. Like, what's it jumping to?
Yeah,
Is it jumping to materialistic things? Is it jumping to a certain type of person? Um, like if I'm, let's say I've an argument with my brother and I'm constantly talking about him, I know that that's on my mind rather than me
yeah,
forgetting it and sitting in the subconscious. So that's great because I can see it on paper. Like, how am I feeling about this? But also,
yeah,
like, where is my mind going? It jumps from like cars to work to relationships to friendships to like weekend activities, and it's like, okay, so what's important here? And you're able to
yeah,
dissect that, but also it gets the just the bunch of crap out and all this stuff that you don't really need to worry about
yeah.
just onto a piece of paper where it's there and you can start dissecting it if you want to. Other, or you just leave it in the notebook and you can come back and read it at some point.
Might have to try that.
It's great fun. I do it in
That sounds good.
like an A5, A3, like an A5 notebook. I do 2 pages or 1.5 pages. Supposedly you're supposed to do it on a single page of A4. It's just that that takes a while. But
Yeah,
there's something beauty about pen and paper. I think there's a really romantic
yeah,
aspect to it,
yeah.
and I really
Agreed.
enjoy that. Do you write
Yeah.
yours or
I
do you type yours?
I can't type mine. I have to write them.
I
They have to be in my own
I
writing.
tried typing and I tried doing a video version of all of this,
Yeah.
and I was like, nah, it doesn't work.
It's not the same. When you see it in your own handwriting, it becomes a little bit more real, and like there's something about writing it that just makes the biggest
I
difference.
like the feeling of the
I don't know
paper.
what it is. Yeah.
I like just feeling of the
Yeah.
paper, like, because when you're stressed, you obviously, like, for me, I like clenched the pen.
Yeah.
And so I can see on the page where I've been tense, where I haven't been tense, just by like how much I'm pressing into the paper. Like, what type of day
Yeah.
is it? Is it a slanted day? And what does that mean? Like, or is it a straight up type of day? Like, are you bored writing this as halfway through? Like, are there drawings around the edges? The only issue
Mm.
I have with it in a weird way is like I can't act on this stuff. To act on it is to be able to put it in some sort of Excel spreadsheet or whatever, or some sort of note-taking system where you can then like see your brain rather than reading through it. But I think like I've squared it off as one of these things that I'm just gonna have to. It's gonna have to be analog. I'm not gonna be able to
Yeah.
digitize it. I'm not until well sometime in the future, but I'm not gonna be able to digitize it in a way that allows me to reflect on it analytically.
Right.
So I've come to terms with that before, but that used to be an issue for me. I'm like, well, I've got all this information. What do I do with it? It's all
Yeah.
this information about me. How do I figure this? Like, how am I going to figure myself out?
Yeah.
So it's been fun, but I enjoy the journey of it. And then it's one of those things that if people aren't like, then they're not enjoying their lives. I'm like, just journal, straight up, journal, meditate, and breath work. They're like 3 superpowers
Yeah. Agreed.
that
Agreed.
people just slate. But until you do them and you do them religiously,
Agreed.
and it's a
Agreed.
process. You go through bouts of where you're not doing them. Like this week is I've only done like 2 entries. I haven't done any. I've done one meditation, 2 meditation sessions, and 2 breathwork sessions. 6 months ago, it was like every day religiously. 5 o'clock, bam, bam, bam,
Mm.
bam, bam. You know, hour before bed, phones off, screens off. But you just got to get back to that, and it's the beauty of the process. Like you said, falling in love with the process. I had to rewire myself to figure that out
Yeah.
because you're so
You
tuned
do.
up to think a certain way and follow these life scripts of like, you should
Yeah.
be doing this, you should be going out with friends, you should be staying up late. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm a morning person. I'm going to get up at the crack of dawn. Like, I went
Yeah.
out with friends last night and I was up at 6 o'clock. I didn't get up, but like I was awake. So you just, you
Yeah.
have to sometimes go in and hit the snooze button. I don't like doing that, but sometimes you need the sleep.
Respect. Yes. Agreed. Agreed.
But it's the
But no,
process.
that's where agreed. And journaling is, that's something I also recommend to everyone. Journaling is great. great. My friend, don't know if I'm actually allowed to mention it right now because I don't know if he's released them, but he's got a journal coming out and I trialed it. Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. So I will let you know about that
Amazing.
once it's
I've got a friend as
released.
well who's released her journal. I need to buy it whenever she
We'll have to
decides to.
swap. We'll have to
Absolutely.
buy it. Yeah.
I'll buy you one and you buy me his one.
Okay,
Yeah?
deal.
Awesome.
You
And
have
then
deal.
and then when he releases his, we'll release the snippet of this, and that way we can like tag him and his stuff in it.
Right. Perfect.
See if we
Perfect.
get
'Cause
those hashtags
it's
going.
a great done. It's a great journal. And because I started journaling at uni. It was actually part of a coursework assignment where we had to journal. And then I actually really started to enjoy it. And then I started doing it more often. And then it's something that I swear by now. I do it most days, if not every day. Well, yeah, I'd say I do it on every weekday. Weekends I sometimes forget because it's quite busy, but yeah.
Yeah, the weekends
Great.
for me are like
Recommend
that
it
as
to
well.
everyone.
Weekends for me are like
Yeah.
that. Tell me, what are the plans for Notecook in the future? Are you allowed to speak on that? Is there something that you've got in mind, something that you want to turn it into?
I'd love to release some ebooks, not even ebooks, physical books, and work with nutritionists as well. I'd love to get some nutritionists involved and make it more nutrition focused because I do believe that our health is everything, and a lot of wellness does come from food. A lot of our a lot of health issues can be helped with food. So I'd love to get nutritionists involved and just educate millennials because I think there's a growing interest among our generation in health and nutrition. And I'd love to just educate people. I'm learning myself. I'm not a nutritionist, obviously, but I've got the benefit of having my mum here and I've learned a lot from my mum and I've got access to all her journals and stuff. So I've learned a lot and I'd love to just teach that to other people and create a community. I'd love to sell courses and stuff that will help people because I've had people message me saying, I can't believe you've got me back in the kitchen after all these years, like you've given me the motivation to get back in the kitchen with you. And it's like I would never expect to receive them. I'm just releasing recipes. I would never expect someone to say that to me. Like the fact that I've been able to help someone get back to her love of cooking, because she said she used to love cooking, but since she got married she became less confident in cooking, but have she's followed my recipes and it's given her some more that's amazing for me to hear. So I'd love to help more people fall in love with cooking, because it's for me cooking is my meditation. It's like a form of meditation for me. It's where I feel at peace and I'm at one with my thoughts. So yeah, I'd love to release some books, get nutritionists involved, and just educate people, as many people as I can, on different health and nutrition related topics.
That's awesome.
As of now.
That is awesome.
As of now.
Well, I look forward to definitely buying those and going on those courses at some point. I'm sure my mum would love it.
Thank you very much.
Especially
I want your mum to teach me some cooking, because by the sounds of it, she's an amazing cook. So maybe we can do something together.
Yeah, we'll see if we can figure that out. Before I let you go, there's something that I like to do at the end of the podcast to spring it on the guests. It's nothing crazy.
Okay.
This whole thing, the ordinary experience, like this platform that I'm trying to build, is all about telling ordinary stories, empowering the ordinary person. Is there someone or some people that you have in mind that you're like, I want them to tell their story? They've got a story that they need to share.
I know it's gonna sound cliche, but I would say my mum.
We're gonna have to get your mum on then.
She's got stories.
Does she have an Instagram handle that we could tag?
She does. Yeah, it's the gut expert _
The gut expert that is such a good handle. That's cracky. All right.
She is. She's an expert. So just her life story is amazing as well, like where she's come from to what she's achieved now. And we're quite similar in the sense that we've grown up and people have been like, you can't achieve this, you can't achieve that. And obviously for our parents, they had it a lot harsher than we did, in the sense that their lives were not easy. They've come from different countries.
Mhm.
They've had to, you know, grow up in a country that they're not familiar with and stuff. So they've built lives out of essentially nothing. They've gone from having nothing to something. So I think she's got a lot to say.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Well, I'll
That's
have
what
to
we're
get
doing.
her on my podcast on this, on the Ordinary Experience, or we'll have to get her
She'd
on my
be
mum's
more than
podcast.
happy. Oh, your mum's got a
My mum
podcast.
does have a podcast. It's under the Ordinary Experience. It's called The Modern Mama.
Oh my goodness, amazing. I'll have to give it a listen.
Yeah. So it's like it comes out
Amazing. Good
like
for her.
bi-weekly, and it's a really cool process of her going through the motions of her social media journey, but also being
Yeah,
able to share mum's stories and whatever that
I think
turns
that's
into,
amazing.
But yeah, it's great listening to them, and especially because they're mums
Right.
that I know, and
Yeah,
hearing a different side to the usual conversations that we have. It's quite cool.
I have to meet your mum one day, I think.
I think so at some point.
She sounds like a woman, a real woman
She is. She's a
and a
real
half.
cool. I did a podcast with her. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Right.
I'll
Okay,
send
I've
you
got
the
some
episode,
listening
don't
to
worry.
do. Cool.
Right.
Okay,
It was
I'd
an
love to listen
absolute
to that.
pleasure. I'll let you get back to the rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Speak to you soon. Bye.